Hello, I'm Cassie.
I'm Amanda.
I'm Jennifer.
And I'm Rachel.
And we're here today to do a video on movement. Kinesiology is the study of movement.
OT is enabling clients to achieve their goals in the most independent way possible.
Kinesiology matters to OT with increasing body mechanics that will assist a client in reaching their daily goals.
Anatomical position is when the body is in an upright position, the feet are parallel, arms at the sides with the palms facing forward.
Then we have the axial versus appendicular. The axial is the head, neck, and trunk, and then the appendicular is the upper extremities, including the shoulder girdle, and the lower extremities, including the pelvic girdle.
There's three major planes of the body. The first one is the frontal plane, which divides the body into anterior and posterior sections with an anterior-posterior axis.
The second plane is the sagittal plane, which divides the body into left and right sides, with the axis being the medial-lateral axis.
The next plane is the horizontal transverse plane. This plane divides the body into the top and bottom, and the axis that goes through it is the superior-inferior.
Then we have the oblique plane, which is a combination of 2 to 3 planes put together, and the oblique axis is perpendicular to the oblique plane. The next portion of our video will be talking about anatomical terminology. First, we start with anterior versus posterior. This is an example of anterior, the front of the body.
And this is an example of posterior, the back of the body.
These positions also can describe ventral versus dorsal. This is an example of ventral because it is the soft tissues of the body.
And this is an example of dorsal, which is the harder or bony tissues of the body.
Next, we have the superior versus inferior. Superior is above a certain point of the body, so the head is superior to the hips.
And inferior is below a certain point of the body. Example would be her feet are inferior to her hips.
Then next, there's the cephalad versus caudal, where cephalad means closer to the head,
and caudal would be closer to her feet.
Then we get into medial versus lateral. When we use these terms, we are talking about the axial skeleton. So medial is closer to the midline. So an example for that would be your sternum is medial to your shoulders.
Then next, we have the lateral. The lateral is farther away from the midline, so the shoulders are lateral from the sternum.
We then have internal or external. Internal would be towards your trunk. An example would be an internal rotation.
And external means away from the trunk. An example would be external rotation.
Then we have proximal versus distal. When we use these terms, we are talking about the appendicular skeleton. So proximal is closer to the trunk. So your shoulder is proximal to your elbow.
And then distal is farther away from the trunk, so your elbow is distal to your shoulder.
We then have superficial and deep. Superficial would be closer to the surface. An example would be your skin.
Deep is away from the surface. An example would be your bones.
Then we have contralateral. Contralateral are opposites. So my left hand is contralateral to my right foot.
And then there's ipsilateral, which that means the same side. So my right hand is ipsilateral to my right foot.
Then we have prone and supine positions. Amanda is in the prone position with her face down.
And now Amanda is in supine position with her face up.
Ready? Okay. Give me a flexion. Flexion. Give me an extension. Extension. Give me a scaption. Scaption. Give me an abduction. Abduction. Give me an adduction. Adduction. Circumduction. Internal rotation. External rotation. Lateral flexion. Protraction. Retraction. Pronation.
Supination.
Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, eversion, inversion, wah 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 wah. Horizontal abduction,
horizontal adduction, ulnar deviation, radial deviation, posterior pelvic tilt, anterior pelvic tilt. Yeah!